What's up? So today's project is, well, this month's project is this motorcycle. This is gonna be the first sport bike I paint. I painted a few other things. What I wanna do is more sport bikes and motorcycles, so I figure we'll get this one out of the way. First, just have to give a shout out to these guys for hooking me up with the swingarm spools and some other stuff. They also got me some new foot pegs. I will link these in the description below, but these will thread down here on the swing arms and allow us to lift the back end of the bike up. Five years and I just learned that there's a toolkit underneath the seat. This is the project at hand. I'm removing this goofy fender from the back. All right, bolts are out. We've got our fender down here. You should be able to pull it a little bit. There should be a little bit of slack for the wires. What's up? Update on the Ninja project. I just took the fender off. I'm gonna get this plastic off at some point today. Prepping these plastics for epoxy. And then these I'll be prepping for paint. I got 180 on the sander. We're gonna hit these as best as we can, hand sand what I can't reach with the mini DA. I would really like to get epoxy going tonight if possible. I'm not counting on it just because there's still a lot I have to do, but I'd like to get the epoxy laid at the very least because it's gonna be really hot for the next couple days. But yeah, so I gotta figure out how I gotta sand that stuff. Pretty much the biggest thing is getting all this texture out and getting this smooth because paint will not stick to this texture. All right, little update. These plastics are off. I got a couple more plastics over there. These aren't ready yet. These still have to be sanded with 600, but these have been sanded with a mixture of like 120 to 180. And these are pretty much ready to go. I gotta dust them off and wax and grease remover them. But to give you an idea of how far these had come, you can see all that texture in there. That's that panel. I mean, you can see a little bit of texture in here, but that's actually not that bad. So I had to get all that texture out. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hand sanding. So now I've just got one more plastic underneath piece here, and then after this, after I get all these pieces off, then I'm going to separate the dark black plastics because the white doesn't need epoxy, it's just getting base. The black is getting epoxy primered first. I'm just going to separate them by what color they'll be. They'll be one of two colors, so I'm going to separate them like that. All right, I've neglected to give an update on the sport bike project. All the black raw plastics have been sanded with a coarser grit, and right now they are all in the booth on their second coats of primer, so you can still see some of the scratch marks in them. So I'm gonna do 4 coats of the epoxy primer. Hopefully that's enough to mask all the fuzzy and allow me to sand it. Worst case, if they still have a little fuzzy on them, once I sand it down, if any black shows through or any of the fuzzies come through, then I'll hit it with 1 more coat of epoxy primer, and then they'll be ready for base right after that. All right, well, those parts are in the paint booth. I've got the front wheel off right now. Just gonna strip the disc, take the back wheel off. That way I can wash the rims and then get those prepped for paint. I don't know if I did an update on this yet. Sorry, I'm looking rough. I'm sanding all the plastics right now. Just the epoxy primered plastic. Then once I get all these epoxy primer parts sanded, there's a lot of them, about 10 parts. Then I'm gonna sand all the other ones, all of the already painted plastics. And then hopefully, if I get this done in the next couple hours, I can slap some paint on this stuff. I've got all these parts sanded. The only part that's not actually sanded is this and the rear. That one's broken, so I've got a new one. Oh, and I do have them separated. This is teal, this is pink. Mirrors, I think I'm gonna keep those white. And then wheels, I think we're gonna do those white. Tank, I gotta take the tank off at some point. I'm not gonna do it tonight. I'm not even gonna prep it tonight. Just have to figure out what I wanna do with that Kawasaki logo on it. Coat 1 on everything is complete. The pink will be popping on the next coat. Pink is on its third coat, gonna be fourth, just a light coat before I do the clear coat. I took the tank off the bike. It wasn't too difficult. Just 2 bolts here. Sorry about the fan. 2 bolts here, and then these are just basically prongs that stick in there, and you can kind of like wiggle the tank out after you get these bolts. Gas line hook up here, which I've taped off underneath, and then there's 2 hoses that run down here. There's 2 hoses that run down here through this cable configuration down there. Yeah, right now I've got the tank off. I've got it's just kind of sitting here. I got the ring off. I think I'm gonna do this white. Pretty much everything you see yellow is gonna be white. The top is gonna be pink, but then the rest of it is gonna be teal. But I wanted to figure out some tape lines that might look cool, and I think this is the coolest configuration I've come up with, like this. It's a little bit busy for how simple the side of the bike's gonna be, so there is a good chance I take these lines off and don't do it at all. I'm still deciding, because the front of it, I've got like this, so it's real sleek and sharp and just boom. And I like that, but the side I'm gonna have a big stripe down it, a big wide stripe, and so mixing the wide stripes with the small stripes, I don't know if it's gonna look that good. I'm still deciding that, but you'll see what I decide when the time comes. But I do think I'm gonna do this white just to accent it a little bit. Sorry for the lack of updates. I've just been kind of cruising on this. We got the bead broken on the front tire. Then I started painting the tank. I'll show you, I taped up. I don't think I gave an update. This is the tank so far. So from this green to the pink, that's all gonna be a strip of white across. This is gonna be teal. So I'm just waiting for this to fully flash off, and then I can tape this up, tape the whole center, paint these teal, peel the tape, and then do my white stripe at the very end. Probably not gonna be able to do the white stripe until after I get off work, because I'm kind of running out of time here. But then I've got these that are intercoat cleared that are gonna have to be scuffed. This is gonna have to be sanded down smooth, and then I can paint that pink later today. A lot going on. We're getting down to the final day or 2 of this. All the painting should be done. Besides the stripe, all the painting should be done today. So I still have the mirrors and the gas cap little ring. So yeah, everything later today should be painted, cleared, and ready to go pretty much. And then I can start putting it back together. And there's only like, out of the 22 to 25 parts, only 6 are coming back off the bike to get repainted. So, and they're the last parts that go on, which makes it even better. All right, so got all my pink parts laid out. Some of these parts are done. So I've got these, those parts over there. So I'm gonna put the front end together while I'm waiting. I got some paint projects going on in the booth right now. I got the tank still working on some other small parts in there. I've got to assemble the headlights and the electronics and the display and all that. So, all right, we've got the tank pretty much done. Just gonna try some gold leafing for my logo on the center of the tank here. Last plastic over there, last pink plastic. Got a couple other plastics over there. I'm gonna spray a couple coats on this, get a few flashes, and then see if we can't learn how to gold leaf today. All right, the last parts are in the booth for clear. Well, not the last ready parts are for clear. I still got wheels, and then I got this going. So right now I'm gonna get my stripe laid out across this. I just have to find my package at my laser level. That way I can get perfectly straight lines. And then these parts obviously have to go back in the booth for the white stripe clear and a little bit of pink accents on that as well. But for now, I'm gonna find my laser level and try to get this line laid out. All right, you can see the line level right there. I think that's the angle that I'm gonna do. I thought about running it through the front light as well, but I think I'm just gonna cut it off here. It's gonna be cut off at the back panel anyway, so I don't think it'll look too goofy having it cut off at that plastic and at the back, but then I don't have to repaint that headlight area and stuff that up. And it's not that I'm being lazy, but it's so perfect right now that I think I just want to do this. This will be the easiest way. So now that there's a laser on there, I can take my tape and I can run my tape right across the laser. All right, line 1 is taped on there. So now I'm gonna find my next spot and I'm gonna measure from here down and here down. That way, no matter where the line is underneath, it's still gonna be the same width all the way. The line's not gonna taper at all. All right, both the stripes are laid out, at least for the bold stripe, on both sides. So what I have to do now, because I want this to be 3 stripes, 1 big bold stripe in the middle and then 2 thin stripes on the outside. I have to run tape underneath here to get my spacing perfectly even, and then run tape under there and then peel the center tape back. That way, that's what's gonna be the white stripe. I have to take all these plastics back off and tape up that secondary stripe. All right then, let's get to it, I guess. Strip the whole thing back down. All right, it is 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm probably looking a little rough. This is my 3rd day of 5 hours of sleep and then just grinding the rest of the day. I got this wheel scuffed, the other one's got to get scuffed still. This probably still needs a little more scuffing, but I was just doing it while I was waiting for paint to cure. Tank's out here now, that's setting up, whatever. I got some parts over there too, new parts. No more progress on the bike besides I put this back pink plastic on. I'm gonna get the tail light hooked up probably tomorrow. I have to wire that in. I just did clear over all these. Really excited about those. I think that stripe's gonna look sick. Those should be good to go by tomorrow night, and I should be able to throw them on the bike. The clear coat might still be a little soft, but I think it'll be fine as long as I'm careful with them. But I'd like to get the tank on in the morning, and then from there just start building this thing up. Pretty much everything's painted except the rims, but I can get this thing built up and ready to roll, put the wheels on when those are done. So I'm doing them white with some accent color. I haven't decided entirely yet, but that's tomorrow's project, is to try to figure out kind of where I want to go with that. All right, another update. I got the gas tank on. So that's bolted. Got this plastic bolted to it. I am currently mounting the windscreen as well as the mirrors. All the parts are painted, so everything's got, the sides have the stripes. Those have the stripes, and I'm really happy with how these turned out. I think it's gonna look great when it's on the bike. I went with the black windscreen, but I kind of like the black even better. I'm gonna throw mirrors on, then start putting the side panels on. Purple is gonna be our right turn signal, which will be black. So we're gonna take the additional pieces that they gave us that are split, wrap them around here and tape them to pigtail it in. Right now I've got the wheels prepped. Bike is done out there, but I'm not gonna show you that yet. Wheels are prepped and ready for paint. And my little rig for these. And yes, I'm gonna throw a coat of white on these and clear them in the morning. All right, got the wheels coated with the first coat of clear. Bike's done. I mean, yes, bike's done. A couple things that I'm doing right now. So, got the fender eliminator tight there. And then I got a Leinci exhaust that I'm gonna slap on this. All right, bike's done. I'm not gonna show you that just yet. I've got the wheels seated back on there. So getting the front disc on. Just gotta find my torque wrench so I can get these to spec. Once I get the discs and the chainring on, then I can throw these on the bike and it'll be finished, and then I'll show you the final result. Wheels are on, that was kind of a bitch, but it's built, everything's good. I'm a mess. Let's check it out, you ready for this? Big reveal.